and welcome to my world. Hello and welcome to the Happy House. This will be the first day of Kwanzaa, and I'm going to let the founder tell you a little bit about it, and then I'm going to follow through with day one, which would be Emoja. Bless you.
On days like this today, I feel so honored and humbled. I have to introduce to you my Uncle Malana Karanga, Dr. Uncle Malana Karanga. How are you doing today?
Yeah, just Dr. Malana Karanga. I'm doing good. Guys, good to be here.
Good to be here, too.
Good to see you successful in doing that. Communication is central to what is happening in the world, so I'm glad you're in this.
I wanted to know more about your speech today, as far as why you felt today to touch on the topic of Kwanzaa, to reintroduce to us during Black History Month.
Because Kwanzaa is tradition. Kwanzaa is history. It is part of the history of a people who has made an awesome walk through human history. And so Kwanzaa sets a framework for talking about history. So throughout my lecture, I talked about history and historical figures. Malcolm X, Martin King, Fannie Lou Hamer, Harriet Tubman, Ella Baker, and all of them, Messenger Muhammad. All these people made us who we are as a people, and so I pay homage to them. And Kwanzaa is a time when we commemorate the past and when we raise up the names of those who gave meaning to our lives, who taught us to walk in dignity as Africans in the world. So that's what I did, talk history.
And I like the fact that you brought it up and centered it around history, because it educates us. The way it sounds like, look, we should be celebrating Kwanzaa all year.
Yeah, well,
All
we
year
celebrate the values all year
round.
round. The values, the hub and hinge on which the holiday Kwanzaa turns, or the Nguzo Sabo, or the seven principles. And they are first in Swahili and then in English: Umoja, unity; Kujichagulia, self-determination; Ujima, collective working responsibility; Ujamaa, cooperative economics; Nia, purpose; Kumba, creativity; and Imani, faith. And people celebrate and practice those principles all year round. Over 40 million people celebrate Kwanzaa.
Wow.
And so many more must celebrate it. Throughout the world, African community on every continent in the world.
Celebrate. So it's not just here in the United States.
That's right. It's a Pan-African holiday and a world-encompassing holiday. And people use those values, those seven values I talked about, to ground their lives, to teach and name their children. A lot of people name their children after these values, but they also teach them the value itself. And they also use it to organize their projects and programs in the social and economic and political areas. And so this is a very important development and tradition that we had here. And I'm forever thankful to Black people who embraced it. Certainly it's my intellectual creation, but it would have just remained that if Black people all over the world didn't see value in it, embrace it, and make it their own.
More with Dr. Karanga in a moment.
Hi, my name is Raven Cook, and I'm Director of Education at Mosaic Temple Arts Cultural Center in downtown Little Rock, Arkansas. Happy Kwanzaa. I am so excited to be with you for the first day of Kwanzaa as we consider the Nguzo Saba, the seven principles of Kwanzaa. The first principle that highlights our day today is Umoja, unity. Unity is so important in the African American historical experience, and Kwanzaa reiterates that through this principle, which emphasizes a striving to maintain family, community, nation, and race. And it thinks about the connection, this unification, not just of self to people, but self to all things. So as we go through our year, as we think back this year that has been, how have you been connected to all things? How have you taken time to connect to those you love that are in your sphere of influence, but also stepped out of your comfort zone a little bit and learned more about people that you didn't know? How have you connected in nature? How have you connected to the birds and the trees and the ground and the earth, the water, all things? How have you taken time to really consider you in relationship to not just your community, but to the world? Remember, Kwanzaa is active. Every day has not just a spiritual dynamic, but also encourages us to move, to connect, to do, to maintain, to build, to solve, to define, all of these action-oriented words that define each one of the days and center in each one of the principles. Umoja is the first day, and remember, Kwanzaa is a building block cultural holiday. Every day, every principle is building upon each other. Umoja is that first day, and at the first day, you'll start this greeting. So as you're approaching someone, if you're in conversation, the first person would say, Habari Gani, which means, what's happening? What's the news? What's going on? And the second person would respond with the principle of that day. So today, it would be the first person saying, Habari Gani. And the second person would then say, Umoja, unity, emphasizing and putting out through language, right, in the atmosphere, through your words, Umoja, unity, and really centering that within the community, but also within the atmosphere, within nature, reminding ourselves that we are connected to all things, and we use that connection to further the building of our nation and our world. So thank you for being with me for the first day of Kwanzaa, and I hope to see you for the rest of the 7 days of Kwanzaa.